Hey, I'm Jay Royster, and today we are at 1233 The Plaza, meeting with Sink Kimmel of Selwyn Property Group. He's going to tell us all about the redevelopment, so let's check it out. So here we are at 1233 The Plaza, also known as the Post Office redevelopment in the heart of Plaza Midwood. Sink, thanks for sitting down with us today and talking with us about it.
Thanks for having me, Jay. It's really good to be here and exciting to see the project come along from where it started almost 2 years ago to here we are within 45 to 60 days of having shell delivery.
Yeah, very impressive, and it is the middle of summer, so it's a little hot out here, but we're gonna roll with it.
We are gonna. So if you see me do like this or like this, just go with it.
That's right, sounds good. So Sink, before we get into talking about this deal, very creative, very unique, like I said, in the heart of Plaza Midwood. If you could, though, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in commercial real estate.
Yeah, so Sink Kimmel started over at Selwyn Property Group roughly 18 months ago after being with the Nichols Company, which is a little boutique brokerage firm, for 7 years. And they're located just up the street here in Plaza Midwood. And came over right about as things were shutting down. As a matter of fact, had 2 weeks in the office at Selwyn, and then everything shut down, and I was working out of my guest room for the next 6 weeks going, but fortunately it's been a good move.
Well, that's great. And now that we have your background, and by the way, we are filming on a construction site, so apologies for the background noise, but that's something else we're gonna roll with as well.
Yes.
But now that we have your background, if you could, Sink, what's the background on this building? I know it was built in 1957, originally a furniture store. Obviously, most people know it as the post office, but tell us about the background here.
Yeah, so originally this was designed in 1957 as a furniture building. It was a 2-level furniture, home goods furnishing store that had an interior stairwell. There was no means of exterior access to the second floor. So if you were a consumer going to purchase a new couch or lamps or whatever it is you need for your house, you would come in a wide open stairwell in the middle that would direct your line of sight to upstairs, and it existed as a furniture store for many years. And then maybe at some point too, there was a fitness equipment supplier, possibly between the furniture store and the post office, or maybe it was the other way around. We're not 100% certain on that.
So before we get into talking about what it is to date and this redevelopment and acquisition on behalf of your client, let's talk about the real estate. What is really appealing about the real estate here? You're walkable to so many food and beverage options, some of the best that Plaza Midwood has to offer. But in your opinion, whether you're an investor in this building like your client yourself, or whether you're a business that's leasing space here, what's really appealing about the real estate?
Yeah, so I mean, in real estate, the biggest thing is the location, right? And obviously there's many incredible locations in Charlotte. South End gets a lot of people's attention. We are not South End. We are our own distinct, eclectic Plaza Midwood. And I would say we're more on the front end of growth and development here. And there's so many young people that have moved into this particular area in this immediate vicinity within the past 5 years or so. And you know, all the restaurants, the breweries, the really cool historic neighborhood nightlife scenes are literally all right around this. Not to mention the neighborhood grocery store and the main thoroughfare right behind us at the traffic light.
Yeah.
So you are literally in the crosshairs of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is great real estate, and I know I've loved the office here because you're walkable to, like I said, so many great restaurants, bars, and other venues. And Plaza Midwood is a very unique and one-of-a-kind type neighborhood.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're looking for something to do on the weekend, you go, I'm going to go to Plaza Midwood, I'm going to go to Noda, or maybe South End.
Yeah.
If you're looking for noise.
That's right.
If you're not looking for noise, you may stay at your house. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about where it is today. You gave us some background on the building. We've talked about the real estate, but your client acquired the building in January 2019.
Correct.
I think they paid $3.4 million for it.
Correct.
And you all have decided to add 2 floors,
Yep.
6,500 square feet each to the building. But obviously, that doesn't just happen overnight. Tell us about the acquisition process, how that came together, and the redevelopment plans.
So it was about a 15-month journey from start to close on the building. This was one of those properties that was owned by multiple people. They were all within the same family. And from a stable investment standpoint, they had the post office. who is in here. And historically, the building had been marketed as a lease opportunity because the post office was no longer using the upstairs. And you know as well as I do from being in commercial real estate, if somebody is, marketing something for lease, maybe there's an opportunity to sell. Even if it's not being marketed, you follow your curiosity. And so the particular property was being marketed for lease, and I had a client at the time that was looking for an investment property in an up and coming neighborhood. We had maybe gone after one or two other things and we weren't getting anywhere. And this property kind of caught our eye because of being in Plaza Midwood. And as I said, it was being marketed for lease, but a deal had not gotten done yet. And part of that, I think, had to do with the owners of the property at the time overcoming the challenge of accessing the second floor for lease. And so we kind of looked at it as an opportunity of, hey, if nobody else is figuring this out, what would it look like to see if we could possibly purchase this building and create that access? And over many conversations, many offers, many creative deal scenarios, whether it was a master lease, whether it was offering this number and we needed to offer higher, we eventually got to a number that was palatable for the group. But that was really what drove the idea behind having to go vertical with the building.
To justify that.
To justify the cost, yes.
Yep. Kudos to you all for figuring out how to make the deal work, and the deal clearly had a lot of challenges, and you did your due diligence and you were able to figure out solutions to those challenges with access and the second floor, and then ultimately adding 2 floors on top of this.
Yeah, and a lot of that goes to the owner and to the architect as well, because you can afford to pay for real estate what you can generate revenue rise coming out of it. And as we've already said, at the acquisition price, you really needed to be able to go higher. The zoning allowed it, but you needed to be able to go higher and create more square footage in order to generate more revenue to make the deal work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about your architect, your GC, who's doing that?
Yeah, so Peden Finan Architecture, Tim Finan and Don Peden, they're in Plaza Midwood. They had previously worked with my client on a couple other projects, and so they were the design team. And as you can see, excellent, modern, kind of edgy, really, say, I want to be in that building because it looks really sharp. Ratzliff had done some other notable projects. They did the Sedona Law Office in Charlotte. And then engineering group was Isaac's Engineering.
So you all clearly have a great team that's executed on this project, but let's talk about your role in this. Obviously a major hurdle in the acquisition, but as far as leasing this space, what are some of the businesses that you're targeting to be here?
Yeah, so Plaza Midwood has really kind of morphed over the years. It's always been a destination for food and beverage and experiential type things, but there's never really been a true, what I would consider professional office component. And so we felt that was a missing segment in the market, and we're looking to try to fill that with niche businesses, niche professional businesses. It could be a law firm, it could be a creative ad agency, it could be somebody that really identifies with the character and the ethos of what Plaza Midwood kind of represents, why people come here. So a business maybe that identifies from that, whose employees would seek to be in this type area regardless of whether they worked here or not.
Well, I think this building and redevelopment is really going to be embraced by the Plaza Midwood community.
Yeah.
Because you're mixing the old with the new. That meshes with the fabric of the neighborhood, not tearing it down. And if anything, you're adding new to the neighborhood. So I know it'll be embraced.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's because that's one thing we didn't talk about. Early on in the process, we actually went and sat down with Larkin Eggleston, who was on city council at the time, and with the Plaza Midwood Neighborhood Association, and maybe that's the same as the Merchant Association, business owners. And the whole point was to kind of really identify and say to these people, we're pursuing a project and we want to do something in the neighborhood, but we also want to be sensitive to your needs. And so typically where people have issues with development is somebody comes in and they just knock something down altogether.
Right.
Literally what we have done, the existing structure is underneath us. We have literally built an exoskeleton around the existing 2-story structure, added 2 additional floors, and it's going to be fused all together. So you've really kind of taken almost like an ancient, modern, old, new, and put it together to kind of keep some of the integrity of the original structure, but give it a new flair and breathe life into it.
Yeah, for sure. And when I think of Plaza Midwood, I think this is the type of project that fits perfectly, like I said, with that fabric. Great. Well, Sink, thanks for sitting down with us today. And I know this is going to be a project that's embraced by the Plaza Midwood community and very successful. So thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for having me. Really look forward to hopefully wrapping up the shell construction in the next 60 days and then being able to announce some tenants in the near future. But thanks for having us.
Great. Can't wait to see it.
All right, man.
Thanks for watching today. If you're interested in keeping up with the latest developments in Charlotte, make sure to like and subscribe.